Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana, what a convention.
I know.
Oh, my gosh. I was so exhausted, but I was so hyped at the same time.
Me too. I was going to ask you how you were. Oh, and happy belated birthday. How was your birthday yesterday?
So fun. I used a little trickery
I know.
to get Press and Jim to go work out with me. I said, here's what I want for my birthday, and didn't give them any chance to say no. And it was great. They both loved it. It's that 20-minute workout, what's called the perfect workout, where you go to failure. And it's supposed to be super good for your bones and super good, for muscle. And believe it or not, Jim actually signed up.
Well, I said, okay, actually, when you sent that to me and then Adam said you did too. And I said, honestly, I bet Jimmy liked it. I bet Press was the one who didn't like it.
He did like it. He did like it because, he's the one with the DEXA scan at 30-something years old that doesn't look good.
Yeah, that's how mine was.
Literally.
Mine was like that
Yeah.
too.
So this kind of workout is exactly what you're supposed to do for if you have bone density issues and you want to build your bone.
Yeah.
So it's exactly what they needed. So he did like it, but he's got little kids and he'll have to figure out honestly if he can make it work. But
yeah, it's hard with your schedules.
But I did ask the guy just in case, if we sign Jim up for a whole year and he doesn't go, can I have his credits? And he said yes. So I'm like, okay, I'll sign him up. You never know. This enthusiasm and this dopamine may fade. And it's so funny because every time everybody asks Jimmy, so do you work out? He always says, well, I used to. And I want to say used to was like over 50 years ago, I'm thinking. I think you should just say no, I don't work out. I don't lift weights. But he is very fit because he walks a lot and he does a lot of, work on everything. So he is fit in that way.
He
But
sounds like
he doesn't.
me, though. That's actually what I say. I used to work out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that used to is a lot shorter time for you. His is getting longer and longer.
I don't know. I feel like mine's been too long. I walk in the mornings, but I've got to go back to strength training so bad. My last Texas game was not good. He was like, you have got to lift weights.
Yeah. So, and then we went to eat lunch, and then we went to see that cute little movie, The Goat.
Oh yeah, how was it?
So good. It was so cute.
Oh,
it was fun.
That's
it was a lot of fun. So that's kind of what we did, and then I came home and started cramming for my challenge tomorrow.
Where were the little girls? Did you not see the little girls?
Oh yeah, they went with us.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, I picked it because I knew they'd like it. I always pick something like pickleball or movie that they will like, because they're at the age they want to do fun stuff.
So fun. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm back. Okay, sorry. I think you froze. I'm back, or one of us did. I was just going to say, I think that was the largest attended Keller Williams family reunion convention in, I don't know, maybe ever. I don't know. I haven't heard the final number. And the most value packed. I mean, holy cow. I was wiped too, though. The day I got home Tuesday night at like 11, and Wednesday I was like, whew, I was wiped.
Yeah, us too. I think it was so value packed. I mean, I really think it was exactly what everybody needs to be ahead of the new curve that we have coming and, secure their spot. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I heard, I know we're going to get into deep, and I know your and I's both favorite was Donald Miller, so we'll talk a lot about him. But one of the things that I heard one of them say was just really the whole thing I felt like was social media, AI, building your authority, all of that stuff. And I can't remember which one of them, actually cannot remember which one of them said it. It might have been Gary Vee or Donald Miller, but one of them said, just remember that somebody bought 15,000 horses the day before the car came out. And then nobody cried when the Yellow Page ads and stuff, stopped selling or went away or whatever it was. And so that things are changing, and it's the truth. And that if you aren't making content every single day, you're slowly disappearing. And you know what's so wild, Linda? I told Adam this last night. We were sitting in the hot tub. I have seen like people that I haven't seen before are all posting on social this weekend. And the people who
Yeah.
normally post are like double timing. I mean, they are ramping it up with stuff. And I'm just so glad. I mean, I feel like it was
Mhm.
the kick in the pants that everybody needed.
I think all the other changes, because, I think this is like my 40th year in the business.
Yep.
And I remember changes used to be slow, 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 like decades for something to change. They're happening so much faster now
Mm-hmm.
that I think that's what is kind of overwhelming to people is, used to you'd say, well, just catch your breath a minute because it's going to take a while for all this to catch up. Well, that's not the case anymore
That's
because
right.
it's going so fast. So I think the timing was perfect for what information we got. And I think next will be how quickly people take action.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you know what? One thing I will say, I mean, I don't know who all did it. I'm sure it was all of KWRI and just the whole staff, but I mean, every single speaker was fantastic. Like there was not one speaker that I thought, nah, this one's so. I mean, really, not at all. Every single one, I was like,
Mhm.
gosh, this is such great. It just was so timely. I mean, you could just tell that they really put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Well, let's get started. We'll talk about my most of my notes for some reason are from Donald Miller.
Yeah, he was.
And I've actually heard him before. Were you with us when he spoke at John Maxwell?
I mean, I've heard him before too. I was trying to remember. It may have been with John. I don't remember to be honest, but I had heard him before and I read his book a long time ago when it very first came out.
I don't know if I wasn't ready for the message
Yeah.
back then or it resonated more now
Yep.
because I thought his message was so simple and so applicable
Yeah.
that I went to his breakout too. He spoke from
Oh, no,
stage
I
and then he
wanted
had
to
a
go to his
breakout.
breakout so bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm super excited about that. But so let's kind of talk about that. One of the main things I got from him, and I think we are terrible about doing this, is about, not to decrease the cognitive load of our message.
Yeah.
That was powerful because I think we speak in terms of where we are, not where we were or what we do. And people are confused about who are you and what do you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really a big thing. He says, your sound bites will be clear, your sound bites will be consistent, and your sound bites will stick and spread if you do it correctly.
Yeah.
So if we take out all the cognitive load that we don't need and make it simple and make it something that sticks
Yeah.
so that when people, they can repeat it for you.
Yeah, he said that I loved when he talked about that because he also, when he was talking about the sound bites, this was a huge one. On Friday morning, I did a Zoom with all my top agents and we just all shared and this was one of the big ones was he said he should be able to look at your website, your social media, any of your stuff. And if he can't see all 7 sound bites, then you're only sharing noise. And then that you are like in the cognitive load. And I really loved when he said, I like circled this and highlighted it. The confused mind says no. It needs to be easy to understand because clarity always wins. And he said, when confused, people choose what they can understand the fastest.
Yeah, so
And
true.
that's true. Yeah. I mean, I was even thinking, just of things where I haven't been, I haven't fully understood something and I either don't do it or I just pick whatever's the fastest or the easiest. But he said the lower the cognitive load, the more people will place orders or the more people will, buy whatever you're looking to sell them.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know who was it. I don't think it was the same person because I think this was the person before this, but a lot of people, like you said, now are going home making videos, which is what everybody needs to do. But who is it that gave the tip to say their name before you start your video? I
That
was
was
so mad. I'd already
Giselle.
sent out all my.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was thinking that I wish I'd have had that before I sent all my sales video out for my challenge.
I know. It was so good. Yeah. She talked about naming your avatar and like speaking to one person saying the name before. Yeah, it was that she was great. I had a ton of notes.
And then you go back and edit it out. And then the other one I loved is laugh before your video.
Yep. Yeah, she was good. She said, what energy do you need to bring? Think like this is like your walkout song. She said they want to work with someone who's excited about what they do. And she said some people get on and share these videos and, do all the stuff and they look like they're just in pain. And she's like, nobody wants to work with you if that's the kind of energy that you're putting out.
Yes, so true. She also said, I need to see your face, I need to hear your voice, and I need to know you.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wrote down so many people treat social media as a check off the box. This was actually Adam. He said this was his biggest aha. So many people treat social media as a check off the box instead of relationships to build. This is where people need to learn who you actually are. And a
Mm.
lot of our agents said that was them, that they had just been doing it because they felt like it was a check off the box and they needed to, and they weren't actually really going deep and sharing who they are or making connections on social media.
Well, and she also said, how can you be a light to the world?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you just take the focus off you,
Yep.
to me, when the focus is about yourself, um, it's not as authentic.
Yep.
I don't know. It doesn't resonate with people. So if you can just think, what do I have that I could be a light to the world?
Yeah. Yeah, it was so good. I loved that. Well, on the heels of that, back to Donald Miller, I think my biggest aha actually was for my offices. And it was, I love how he walked through the story brand model. I mean, he said basically in a nutshell, of every story, there's a character who is also the
Yeah.
hero who then has a problem and then meets a
Yeah.
guide who gives them the plan and then calls them to action. And then it either, you hope that it results them in success and they avoid failure. And so when he was kind of talking about sound bites, those were like the 7 sound bites that he was talking about. I think that's 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. But my big takeaway, Linda, from that was a lot of times I think we, especially as a brokerage, try to be the character or the hero, and we're not.
Mhm.
We are the guide that actually helps our agents, who are the character or the hero, solve
Yes.
the problem they have and give them the plan to get into action so that they can achieve the biggest results that they want to and have as much success as they want to, and not, fail basically at whatever they're trying to do. And just switching our language around that. And so because he said people move toward a vision, especially if there is a visual with it. And so I've been thinking all weekend, like, how can we tell that story more from a brokerage level with like visuals and stuff?
Mhm.
But me and Dylan and Josh and Adam actually were brainstorming afterwards. And the question that we have been asking ourselves is, what's the one thing that agents really, really want that they would get if they came to us? So it's like, if they want blank,
Mhm.
they come to us because we are the guide. We aren't the hero, we're actually the guide. And if you take that for agents, it's the same thing. The clients are the hero and you as the agent are the guide. And I mean, I've heard him talk about that before. I read his book before, but like you said, this time it just totally hit me different.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't know, maybe he was clearer this time. Maybe he took his own advice. I don't know. You know, um,
But
he's,
what he said made sense though, because he said we are the guide because we've been there, done that, and now we are ready and willing and able to help. And that is true. That makes a lot of sense when you look at it that way.
and was it him or who said, don't be saying the word I, because then that makes you the hero
Yep.
and you need to be the guy.
Yep, that's exactly what he said. And we've even started changing our language, like in our social media just this week, of, we are the ones to guide you to the best decision. Like we need to use that language more. We all should be using that language more, because it automatically makes them think in their head, okay, well, they're guiding me to what I want. It's almost like a Phil Jones thing, like if you're using the right language, because he said the story's not about you, it's about the customer. We play the guide for our clients as agents. That's what he was saying. But I've been trying to take that to like a leadership perspective, and it's the exact same thing. It's just the character is different.
Yeah. He said, identify one thing that they want. People are only doing business with you to solve a problem.
Yep.
And every story is a hero trying to solve a problem. When you position yourself to solve a problem, have you ever been in a situation where you needed to choose courage? I don't remember why I wrote that down, but
Yeah.
he also said that word we hate, which is niche down.
I know.
Problem. We
Yeah,
don't like that word.
I love when he said you need to own a hole and tell the story because you're the expert to get them out of whatever that hole is. Which really kind of goes with your life mission statement about overworked entrepreneurs build wealth, blah, 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 blah. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's the hole. You know what I mean? and you're the expert in getting them out of that hole. So that's when you think about it through that lens, it is right. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. If you can't help me figure out how you can help me with your service, I don't buy. Yeah, same
Yep.
kind of thing. Yeah, I think with literally, if you thought through and it's so funny, I probably see a million movies. Do you think I ever catch that part about the hero and the guide and I guess I don't pay that close of attention, but I'm going to start now paying attention to,
Did y'all
okay, he's the hero, he's the guide.
Speaking of, did y'all watch Night Agent? I can't remember if we ever talked about that.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. We watched that. It was good.
We binged the new season last night and it is so good. Have you watched it?
No, you know what? I watched the one, but I didn't realize it was going to actually be a series. So I have to
Yeah.
watch
Oh
that.
yeah. The last season just came out. It's so good. But I was thinking the reason why it made me think of that is because when we were watching it, I was really thinking through like, who the guide is, because it is funny though. Like once you know that, you just start to think about it. But he said to wrap, well, not wrap it all up, but he did say you need to figure out how to get the word to spread about you, because storytelling is formulaic, I think is how you say the word. And when you follow that story brand model and those 7 sound bites, you can figure out how to get the word to spread about you because you learn how to tell the story better. And that is what we all need to be better at, especially right now.
Yeah, telling the story. We could use a lot of practice doing that. He also said, now give them a 3-step plan. That's they need simple. Customer needs to know it's a simple 3-step. I'll guide it. And you need a call to action.
Yeah, if you are struggling with X, then do Y. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what else I was thinking too? I shared this with our top agents on Friday. I think I can't remember, it was the NAR stat of last year, but one of the top 3 reasons why buyers used a real estate agent is because they didn't want to make a mistake. And that goes back to his 7th soundbite. Once you guide them through the plan and call them into action, and they have results, they have success through the results, and they avoid failure. For the agents listening, for the realtors listening, that is truly what you're doing with buyers, because remember, one of their biggest things is they don't want to make a mistake. They want to avoid the failure. So if you're giving them the plan and using the soundbite of, hey, don't make a mistake buying your first home, or let's make sure that, you're not making a mistake when it comes to things that you should be paying attention to, all that stuff. And I think that results too during the pandemic when people were buying sight unseen and nobody was getting inspections and all that. And now people are like, holy cow, what did I buy? But they don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah. I loved his part about 2 roles. Empathize with your customer. Ask, what do you hate about this house? Stop and empathize. There's that word again. I always struggled with Chris Voss, and he talked about it on our podcast. Like terrorist negotiators, they empathize with the people. And I then remember we had Dr. Henry Cloud, and I asked him the same question. I'm like, I didn't get it right from Chris Voss, but I struggle with empathy for people who can fix it themselves.
Yeah.
And he said the best thing to me, he said, it's not that you are letting them off the hook. You're just coming from where they probably are. I know this must have been hard for you, or I can understand how you did your best. You worked as hard as you know what I mean? And that changed everything for me, because I don't think I must not have high empathy for people that I think can solve their own problem. I have it for people who can't, but
totally.
But I've struggled with that, but he brought it up again that you have to empathize with them.
I missed that part, so I'm glad
you have to think. Yeah. Never with them, never apologize about being good, and you can't lack competency. You'll need to be the expert. Soundbite of how I will solve the problem. So have one soundbite that says how I'll solve the problem.
And then
now's the time to overload.
Yeah, I think right after
even more
was when he said, after you give them the soundbite of what you're going to do, it's then tell them what will happen if they don't use you.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I can't wait I'm going to go back and reread his Story Brand 2 book that they gave us, because I'm assuming that it's different than the first one. And it was timely. It was so timely for me.
Yeah, it was me too. I think maybe just, and I think too with us, using more social media and different things like that, you do have to get better at storytelling
Yeah.
and understand the person on the other side of the screen. Whereas I don't know, maybe in person we do it naturally, but it's not as natural when you're on video and stuff like that. So that's why I think you have to kind of relearn it.
Yep. Well, and that actually kind of, if we can share a little bit, we'll go just a few more if you have any too, but they, one of the biggest takeaways that I took away from Gary Vee was when he talked about relevance is what matters, and relevance leads to consideration, and consideration leads to purchase. So if you are not relevant, then people are not even considering you. And if they aren't considering you, then they surely aren't going to use you, to buy or sell or come to your brokerage or whatever. So it all goes back to, we have to figure out a way, like Donald Miller said, to get the word to spread about you and to be relevant. And, tomorrow I'm actually Zooming with a group of OPs. And I think that's the thing I'm going to talk to them about the most is like, how are they showing up and being relevant and building authority and getting attention? Because I thought it was interesting that he said views achieved organically are good. And like most people aren't even looking at followers anymore. They're actually looking at like how much authority, how much engagement do they have with the number of followers that they do have. Because he said that what we need to do is make our actions match our ambitions and act like it's 2026. And that was like one of my biggest takeaways, because I think people are thinking that like this whole social media thing is, I think I told you this on one of our last podcasts, but I'm so grateful that I am not just now starting to figure out social media, that I was an early adopter to it. Because when he said act like it's 2026, I mean, I was thinking, gosh, there are a lot of people who they need to really have their actions match their ambitions.
Yeah. Well, and I think you can kind of tend to think you're way behind, because there are so many people that were way on the front end, but they were way on the front end.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And I like when he talked about being the educator, because whenever you're like, if you don't know what content to put out, if you just put out educational content of things that will help people learn, then you get the trust and then you get the attention. So if you, are struggling, I mean, gosh, we got 9,000 ideas of things that people can post and share. But just being the educator gets you the trust, because then they automatically see you as an expert. But I thought his point that he hit home was really well done when he said it's almost like right now people are just doing 5 push-ups a day and they should be doing 300 push-ups a day. And it's like, they're posting once a week and they should be posting 7 times a day. Like that was a good analogy.
Yeah, he said make content every day or disappear.
Yes. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, and he started by saying
and
he could tell.
Don't do content that's selfish.
That's right. Yeah. And
think about how much content really is selfish.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why a lot of people say when you look at someone's feed, like it looks like it's all about you, because, they want to get to know you, but you have to be giving value that's actually teaching them something or inspiring them or whatever. But I did think this was a huge topic in my Top Agent Mastermind on Friday morning afterwards, when he said, instead of calling it Social Media Con, it should have been called Interest Media Con, because he said that everyone should be sharing more content about the things that they are interested in. And that was a huge takeaway for our top agents, especially the ones with teams, because they were like, man, we share so much about the team and we share so much about this, but we aren't sharing enough about our personal interest that would actually, like one of my top agents, Kelly Rowell in Columbus, she's a major golfer. She gets a ton of business from the country club. She holds golf clinics every year for her sphere, like all this stuff. And I was like, you know what? You were on the forefront of really sharing about your interests. Like you are interested in golf. And because of that, you have attracted a crap ton of business of people through the golf network. So it's because I thought it was interesting that he said, I've been following Gary Vee since his very first book. And I've never seen his wife or his kids ever, not one time. He does not put them on social media. So that was when he said, if you don't want to share your family, okay, but you have to start sharing things that you're at least interested in, because he said his definition of attention is if they can't find you, then they won't do business with you.
He said also your content should be talking about struggles and process
Yep.
of your life.
Yep.
Show more dimensions.
Yes, I thought that I circled that. Show more dimensions in your content. Be more authentic. Yeah. He said that's the real way that content should be. You should be the expert of attention of the real you, what you do every day, your hobbies, your interests, the things that you're into, which is kind of funny, Linda, because a lot of people that listen to our podcast say that the things that they like are the real things that we share all the time. And it's,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
and you and I do that. We fall for that too. Like we're looking at everybody that's sharing stuff that they're into, that we're into.
I know, and I still think we could even do a better job
Yeah.
of that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, what are my hobbies? I got to find my hobbies first. But, like I did all the bee stuff with my son,
Yep.
and I was going to post something the other day because for my birthday, I got a gun and bullets from my sister. Got a gun from Jimmy, bullets from my sister. And I'm like, I was going to put on there, only in Texas
Yeah.
is this your birthday gift? You know? But I just didn't do it. It's like one of those things where you got to train your brain to catch those
You
moments.
do.
Um, and use them, and then
Yep.
I have people come up to me all the time and go, "Oh, look, I bought this because you and Dana use it."
I know, all the time. Well, but that's what he said. Like when he said it was Gary Vee, because he said somebody bought 15,000 horses the day before the car came out. This is the truth. That things are changing, like times are changing. But he said, don't
Yeah.
ignore it, and don't get wiped out. You have to do it. He said you don't have to do it, but somebody has to do it. So if you aren't going to do it, then you have to hire it out, or you have to figure out a way to get people to, be posting that stuff or capturing that stuff, because it is true. That's the stuff that people want to know.
You know what I think we would be good for us to do on an episode is let's give them step-by-step instructions of how to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I think it's the how that gets people stuck.
Oh yeah.
Because every one of these people from stage told us what we need to do, but nobody specifically said, well, except for that one guy, but his was about halfway through his, I'm like, I am not doing this. I'm going to give Zoe and tell her, show me how to jump over this house on this video. You know what I mean? So a lot of too complicated, but I'm just saying, what are the moments you should be catching?
Yeah.
How should it be picture, should it be video?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because some of the technical stuff, the how is, I think, what causes people to just totally get stuck.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Let's do that. I'll start.
And it would force
notes. Yeah, that's a good one. That'd be good.
Because I think when people look at everybody's finished product, it looks so good that it's almost overwhelming. But here's a perfect example. So the sales videos and stuff that we just put out over the challenge.
Yeah.
When people look at that, it's going to look pretty put together. I mean, we're going to still make them better, but it's going to look pretty like, wow. What I really should do is go back and say, here's what happened to get to there.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how we made that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looks like when I look at sometimes with people's stuff, I'm like, dang, I'm so far behind. How am I going to get to there? But there are ways that you get it to look like that. Yeah. And so it's people comparing their outside to their inside to everybody else's outside.
That's right. Yeah.
Instead of saying, look, there's ways you can do this, and there's ways that it can look natural, but you can feel comfortable doing it. So I think there's lots of in between that would be nice to share with people.
That's so funny, Linda, because so from me talking and doing Inspirational Morning, it's kind of blew up on social media, but so many people messaged me and said, which I think Tyler did get a lot of this on video. So we need to figure out how to share it. But so many people messaged me and said, like, what were you doing that morning? Like, how are you feeling? Like, were you freaking out? Like, what were you doing to lead up? Like, I mean, it was like everybody wanted to know what was happening before that. It's like people want the behind the scenes.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I think so helping people figure out, okay, you have to think about every moment here, because here's the thing. Zoe will text me after family reunion and say, did you get pictures from family reunion? Well, here's the thing. 1 million people took pictures. I have none of them. You know what I mean? I'm not the one out going, hey, let's do a picture.
Yeah.
1 million people said, hey, let's get a picture. What I should have said is, hey, will you send me that picture?
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, it's not the forethought of my mind. So what's a simple way that people can be trained to say, okay, when you're here, here's the key things you need to grab. You either need to do video or you need to do pictures or when you need to do what, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think it looks so good when other people do it, but when everybody else thinks about it, they're like, okay, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah. Let's do an episode on that. And I will say just real quick, I do think once you get in the habit of that, then it starts to become like a second nature. Then you're like, oh yeah, let's take a picture because I'm, got to give it to Zip. Like you just kind of get in it, but you do have to train your brain.
Well, and you know how when we talk about unique ability, we say that what's unique to you is so easy. You think it's easy for everybody.
Yes.
I think the same thing happens with this stuff. Our stuff that we do that would be interesting to other people, we don't think about it as interesting to other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Like I remember, and then I don't have a good follow through program, and that's my DNA is low follow through. I mean, it's really weird. You'd think my follow through is super high because I get so much done, but it's because I throw so much crap up against the wall that something's going to stick. But when I think about it, I'm like, there's been times that I laid out exactly what I travel with.
Yeah.
That would have been I know from our audience, people would have loved that. I never posted that stuff.
Loved it.
So I think you've got to get your brain in the habit of that.
Yes. Okay. Hold on. Sorry. I'm making a note. Don't think people would.
Oh, you cut out.
Interest. Uh-oh. Am I back? Oh no. Shoot. Am I back?
Yeah, she was cutting out a little bit.
I was going to say, Linda, somebody just posted, I don't know if it was you or Zoe or who, but it was like my brain, right? It said your brain right now. And it was like a picture of your desk and it had like all the challenge stuff and like all the stuff. And I was like, I literally was like, ooh, hold on a minute. Let me see what that is. Like, that is so good. Because again, it's like what's going on in Linda's brain right now.
Well, and it's so funny because there is a certain way that I have to lay out information or otherwise my ADHD is so bad.
Yeah.
So what's funny is that's how I laid out the challenge. I had day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. I mean, all of it. And that's the only way my brain would not be so overwhelmed. Yeah. And so she came over and we were just going to practice running through it, which also helps me. I've done a beta test and now I've had a practice run. I'll have another practice run in the morning. But my brain gets so overwhelmed and confused if I don't visually lay out exactly and then start letting my brain at night go to sleep, which by the way, I just looked up some great research on this. We're not even talking about what happened at the family reunion anymore, but squirrel rabbit. But there is so much science about a way to trigger your brain to solve your problems. I'm going to put it in the challenge. I can't wait. But I realized when I watch myself, because you put that picture up, I'm like, that's the way my brain works. Yeah. If I don't do that, this thing is never going to come together if I don't do it the way my brain likes to process things.
Yeah. Yep. It's so good. So true. Well, okay. If someone is listening to this, let's see, I think this one's going to come out now, like this week. So if they're listening, how can they find out more about the challenge?
Oh, good question. I guess go to lindamckissick.com. I have no idea. Okay. I'll have Zoe put it in the show notes because I have, honestly, that's something I need to work on. I have no clue. We are starting tomorrow. People can join tomorrow, but I'll also do another one in about another 30, 45 days so they can just watch for that one.
Oh, good. Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah.
We'll put it out. I'm doing the first one and rolling in a limited number, and then I'll do the second one and roll in a limited number. I'm just going to slowly roll people in till we as we get going so that we don't have so many people coming in on the front end.
Yeah, I love that. You're right. It is lindamckissick.com. And then you'll see 10X Breakthrough Challenge pop up. And that's how you can get more info. Yeah, that's perfect. Good. Well, I'm so excited. Well, there's a ton more we could share about FR. We may have to do a part 2, but yeah, those were the biggies. And then we'll, we also need to do kind of a state of the industry economy one too. I had a lot of notes on that stuff as well.
Yeah, that was great stuff. That was really good stuff. Okay, but that was before war. That was pre-war.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So who knows what's well, here's the funny thing. The other day, Jimmy said, I think I'm going to take all my money out of the stock market, which he really makes me nervous because we are not stock market people.
We are.
Oh, let me correct myself. I'm definitely not stock market people. And Jimmy, I question whether he is or not. Although he decided to take all the money out. And I guess it probably crashed. I don't know what would have happened during a war. Does stock market go down? I guess I'll find out Monday.
Oh, I have
But I
absolutely
think
no
it did.
idea. Wow.
So the plan is take it out and then see how low it gets and then put it back in. I don't know, but we'll see if that works. I'll report back later
Yeah,
if we're in the poverty house.
it will it will be interesting to see though. I didn't even think about that. I wonder if that will change everything.
Yeah, I would have thought, yeah, they say, well, ChatGPT says it will definitely go down. But I'm wondering, I would think you would take out part of it and leave part of it in and then reinvest the other part. But what do I know about the stock market? I don't study a thing about it. So
Yeah.
there we go.
Me
Don't listen to
neither.
me.
Well, don't take stock advice from us. We can teach you how to like buy things on Amazon though. So we'll
Yes, for sure. And have big goals and have a big life.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Awesome. All right. Well, Dana, good to see you. And if you have not hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that now. And the greatest compliment you can pay us is two things. One, give us a great review. And two, pass this podcast along to somebody that you think would benefit from our conversations. And if you have a challenge, a question, an opportunity, or a guest that you would like for us to try to get on the podcast, be sure and reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. And Dana, guess I'll see you next week.
I really will see you next weekend in Oklahoma.
Oh, I'll see you next Friday. Yeah, exciting.
See you then.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.